Good afternoon and welcome to our 3 o'clock or just after 3 o'clock City Council regular work session for today, Monday, July the 14th. It's now just after 3 p.m. and I will call this meeting to order. Mr. Clerk, if you'll please call the roll.
Mayor Brooks?
Here.
Councilwoman McKenzie?
Here.
Councilman Estes? Here. Councilman Cassidy?
Here.
Councilman May?
Here.
Councilman Goff?
Here.
Vice Mayor Webb?
Here.
Councilman Moore? Here.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. We started our day today at the County Courthouse declaring the month of July as the month of prayer and fasting, and I was very thankful for many of the ministers of the City of Cleveland and Bradley County joining us at the courthouse to begin this very busy day in prayer. As is our tradition, we also begin our City Council with prayer and the pledge. Today our invocation is Bishop Wade Patterson, Spring Place Church of God. Bishop, we're thankful that you're here, and if you'll pray immediately following the Pledge of Allegiance, if you'll stand with me. Salute and pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bishop.
If you'll all join with me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we first come before you very thankful for all that you do in our lives. We thank you for your blessings. I ask, Father, that you would watch over and care for us each and every one today as we're gathered together in this setting. I ask for wisdom and direction. Lord, you know exactly what is needed, and I pray that we will discern from your heart, Lord, the things that will be best for this community. So, Father, we give you honor and we give you glory for the results of all things that will be done. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right, the next item, thank you, Bishop. We're grateful for that prayer today. The next item on the agenda is to waive the reading of the minutes of the last regular session, which was June 23rd, and that does require a motion from this council.
Mayor, I move that the City Council of the City of Cleveland waive the reading of the minutes of the regular session of the City Council held on June 23rd, 2025, and approve them as written.
Second. It's a proper motion by Vice Mayor Webb. It's properly seconded by Councilman May. Any comments, questions, or additional changes to those minutes? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Webb?
Aye.
Councilman May?
Aye.
Councilman Estes?
Aye.
Councilman Cassidy?
Aye.
Councilman Goff?
Aye.
Councilman Moore?
Aye.
Councilwoman McKenzie?
Aye.
Carries 7-0.
Thanks, Mr. Clerk. That motion passes. The next item on the agenda is item number 5, which is special presentations and public comments. Now, welcome all. We have a bumper crowd today, standing room only, here at Cleveland City Council. I will have just a few comments and discussions about as we go forward in the agenda. This is the opportunity for the public to address the City Council. However, the very next immediate item is a public hearing to discuss a potential increase in tax rate. So if you are here to speak for or against taxes, you are about to have that opportunity on item A under 6. This opportunity is for anyone who would like to talk about anything else other than taxes, or potholes, or paving, or anything else that you wish. If there is anyone seeking to address the council at this time, would you please raise your hand? I will need you to step to the podium and indicate your name and address. All right, seeing none. Councilman Cassidy, you wanted to make a statement under special presentations?
Yes, Mayor, I do. I want to thank everybody for coming out and for this meeting and what we're going through. As a representative of the 3rd District, I have the honor to represent the people in the 3rd District. We've been entrusted, and this is something for me, we've been entrusted to people not only manage what is, but wisely shape what will be. And that's what we're talking about today. That means investing in our future, infrastructure, economics, development, in our youth, it's been talked about, and the quality of life. So let's choose to invest wisely. Let's become to the future. Cleveland depends on us what decision we make today. And I just want to reiterate, as we grow as a community, we have to grow our services. I mean, it's inevitable as we grow. And if we don't, and a wise person one time said, if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. Is that right, Ken?
That's right.
I've heard him say that many times, and I think this is the time we need to start moving forward. If it's a few pennies or whatever it may be, I hope we can come out of this thing to where we can move the city forward and do the things we need to do in our community. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other comments from the council or anyone else? I'll give one last chance. All right. It'll take us now to the next item on the agenda, which is item 6A, hearing petitions and communications. Today's meeting is being held to hear public comments on the city's intent to consider exceeding the certified tax neutral property rate up to and not to exceed 10.5 cents above the certified property tax rate. The certified tax rate as defined by the Tennessee Code annotated 6751701 is 1.2316. I'll now declare this public hearing to be open. To begin, would anyone like to speak in favor of exceeding the certified tax rate? Please indicate by raising your hand, and I will ask for you to come to the podium and state your name. If you will state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Bill Anderson, in Dwayne Goff's district, and I've looked over the agenda that you have for today. You've got some specific items, one addressing Mouse Creek Road, and one looking at the sports development. We have grandchildren all involved in athletics at the age that they are already. And my kids were involved in sports and athletics, and I think there's plenty of opportunity to step toward a future that has more involvement in Cleveland City, Bradley County, and this area. We're both retired. I'm not a fan of tax increases in general, but I think these specific points deserve merit and look into the future. So we've got the past pretty well settled. We need to look at the future for now. Okay? Question?
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Any questions for Mr. Anderson? Thank you. And is anyone else seeking to speak in favor of exceeding the certified tax rate? Please raise your hand. All right. Yes. If you'll please come to the podium and state your name for the record.
Renee Diamond, city resident, District 2. As a lifelong teacher, I have spent my career in education trying to do what's best for students. And as I know you have this important vote ahead of you, I want to speak just on behalf of students. As a neighbor, a lifelong member of the education industry, I'm here because I deeply care about what happens to our city's children. I understand that taxes are never popular, but if we don't invest in our schools now, the overcrowded classrooms, stressed out teachers, and children who don't get the attention that they need at the most critical moment in their development will be in jeopardy. If we don't act now, we'll be turning away families who want to raise their children in Cleveland. We'll be telling them there's no room for you here. And we'll be sending the message to students that are already here that they're expected to make do with less. I don't want to live in a city that turns its back on its future. I want to live in a city that plans, prepares, and invests in the next generation. We can build tomorrow's workforce we can't build tomorrow's workforce in yesterday's buildings. We can't wait until it's too late. Please vote yes on this tax for our schools, not because it's easy, but because our kids are worth it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll now ask, is there anyone else seeking to speak in favor? If you'll please come to the podium and state your name and your city district for the record.
Nate Tucker, District 3, city resident. Thank you, council members and mayor, for the opportunity to speak to you today. I stand here not only as a member of the Board of Education for Cleveland City Schools, but also a parent that has students that have matriculated through the system, starting as kindergartners at Stewart Elementary and later at Candies Creek, Cleveland Middle School, and now both attending Cleveland High School next month. So I want to point out a couple things to you that I want you to consider as you take this vote. I'm not going to reiterate any of the things that Dr. Elliott or the committee has mentioned to you previously. I ask you to have a vision for our next generation in regards to schools. While we're here to discuss budgets for new schools, for me, like so many others, this isn't just about buildings. It's about building a future. Every classroom we add and dollar spent is an investment in the next generation of leaders, innovators, and neighbors. So a long-term vision is needed, and that of education is a foundation for a thriving city. I've been in many meetings where you guys have either said that directly or alluded to that. Carefully planned and executed school projects are part of a legacy of leadership and foresight for our city. I want to be a part of that legacy. I want that legacy to be for all of us. My belief is that it is the responsibility of both the Board of Education and City Council members to take care of its citizens. But specifically for this conversation, it's school-age citizens. And we should take and make every effort to not rely on other entities to do that. I emphatically believe that those that we are not currently taking care of should be top of mind and priority. So why? Schools are anchors of a community. Strong schools don't just educate. They anchor neighborhoods, bring people together, and create a sense of belonging. Smart growth requires smart planning. We can't wait until we are overcrowded to act. Growth is here, and smart cities plan ahead. Our request has been made, and I believe it is a fiscal responsibility to move. Delays cost more. In the long run, both financially and in the student outcomes, especially in overcrowded learning spaces. We have a growing need for families to have quality pre-K programs within schools and the community. Currently, most pre-K programs are off-site. We need more space to include additional pre-K programs in our elementary schools. My kids attended a pre-K program at Lee University. And today, as I said, they're in high school starting next month. They have never made less than an A. I contribute that to the early learning that they embraced at Lee University. We need equity and access and opportunity. Every child deserves a seat in a classroom that's built for learning, not a converted hallway or shared space. It is all of our more responsibility of ensuring all students, including those in special populations, have access to quality learning environments. It is very important for new school constructions to have an inclusion or inclusive design that addresses the current and future needs. So when we're talking about this, at the center of it should be a partnership and accountability. When I look at what we've done over the last several months and doing today, I see this as a partnership. The board and the council must work hand in hand to ensure every dollar is spent wisely and every voice is heard. That is the expectation, and I'm all in for that. This is not just about spending, it's about collaboration, transparency, and stewardship. I'm all in for that. I want to invite you and the general public to stay engaged with us and informed throughout the process. I'm all in for that. So I ask for you to include the schools in this property tax investment. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Tucker. Anyone else? Ms. Vols, if you'll please come forward and state your name and district number for the record.
Thank you. I didn't know I'd have an opportunity to do this today. I'm grateful to have that opportunity because there's nothing more critical to quality of life.
State your name for the record, please.
Lynn Voles. Nothing more critical to quality of life than infrastructure. And the presentation today was very strong and indicated a good approach to the infrastructure of our community. I love living in Cleveland. I live in District 2. When we moved here many years ago, we purchased a home. We had left a home that we owned. And when we purchased one here, the interesting thing was my husband looked at the tax bill and said, is this monthly or quarterly? It was annually. I realize that we have attracted industry and we have attracted additional people who've moved here because we have a quality of life and relatively low taxes. However, I think that the program that's presented today was valid and it was well thought through and certainly deserves the respect of the members of us in this community to increase availability of funding infrastructure. A recent survey and presentation by Bradley Medical Center was interesting in that they mentioned that the number one indicator to a person's health is their education. I think I was not aware that nationally that's the number one indicator. And so I think, of course, education is critical. We have two amazing educational systems here, and I think they are not irresponsible, and I know that they have done their homework as well. Anyway, I thank you for considering this. I appreciate your wisdom, and I certainly do support the support of infrastructure in this day and age. Thank you.
All right, is there anyone else seeking to speak in favor of the increase exceeding of the certified tax rate? I see no more hands, so we will move to the opposite. Would anyone here like to speak in opposition to exceeding the certified tax rate? If you will please raise your hand. I'll ask that you would come forward. I'll give one more opportunity. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition of exceeding the certified tax rate? Seeing none? Oh, we have one. All right. If you'll...
Not really looking to speak in opposition, but just wanted to add a couple thoughts if you don't mind. My name's Ben Apsher, born and raised here in Cleveland, longtime resident of specifically the south and east side of the city. I have not really any strong say one way or another as far as being opposed or in favor of these. I do think, knowing our school system and the infrastructure needs they have, that it's something that we have to look at, or we're going to find ourselves in a bad spot even in the next couple of years with the room that we have and the people that are moving here. And I used to work in juvenile court that worked fairly closely with the schools, so they're doing great work and they need the support that they need to continue doing that as our population grows. I just wanted to bring up a couple of things that I think would be worth being part of the consideration as we discuss that tax increase. One of them that I think probably you're all aware of already, and though our county tax rates have relatively held the same, and it's arguable that with the services we need, maybe those need to increase as well, but there's also been a wave of reassessment of property in Bradley County, and many people, though the tax rate has not gone up, are paying more taxes. I know myself and some other investors that I represent in my real estate practice are some of our assessments have close to doubled, and though the tax rate hasn't increased, it has led to some increase in cost. The main thing I would really like to see as part of that discussion of the increased tax rate is how those taxes could also benefit especially the east and southeast side of Cleveland with those infrastructure developments. And I know some of that's going to, just as a matter of what's being developed across town and here in the downtown area, but just want those people, especially on the east and south side of Cleveland, who are also going to be paying those taxes, to receive those same benefits and have access to the services that we hope to provide. So I just wanted to add that for your consideration as you're discussing the tax. Thank you.
Thank you. I will give one more opportunity. Anyone seeking to speak in opposition, if you'll please come to the podium and state your name and your district, please.
Jacob Anderson, and Dwayne Goff represents us in District 5. I spoke earlier at the 1 o'clock session, but a lot of folks were not here then. And we had a couple other folks, at least one more I know, that spoke with similar sentiments. And the tax increase, you really have to be careful, I think, when you implement those. And I know it's not an easy subject to even cover. It just affects not just the ones that pay the tax, but the ones that are living in rental properties. Because obviously those expenses can be passed on. We have about 300 families that we represent, my wife and I and some business partners, that are possibly going to be, well, they definitely will be affected if the rate increase that's being proposed at the 10.5% gets put into effect. That's going to affect a lot of folks. So, you know, and I want people to realize, and I don't know how many people will think about this, but if you get a higher dollar amount because of the new tax assessment, you're going to see, in essence, a second increase with this. So I know the total overall is going to be the same, but a lot of folks have seen a much higher assessment than others. So that's something that definitely needs to be considered when we look at this. We're all for education. I've got kids in the school system here. We want them to have the best education, and a lot of the things that were brought about today do need to happen. I just hope that we can at least look at maybe matching the state's rate and maybe slowing this down and not just saying, oh, let's just go full ahead here. At least it needs to be a compromise made at the very most. So appreciate everything that you guys do for our city, and we do love living here. We have no intentions of moving. It's a great place, and a lot of that's because of important topics like this that have been dealt with before now. So we want to continue to support our great city. I appreciate what you guys do. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else seeking to speak in opposition of exceeding the certified tax rate? I'll give it one more shot. Seeing none, I will now declare this public hearing to be closed. Takes us to item number 7 on the agenda, which is the consent agenda presented at the 1 o'clock meeting by City Manager Fivas. The motion to approve is necessary by this council. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Proper motion by Councilman May, properly seconded by Vice Mayor Webb. Any additional comments, questions, or concerns? Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman May.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Webb.
Aye.
Councilman Estes.
Aye.
Councilman Cassidy.
Aye.
Councilman Goff.
Aye.
Councilman Moore. Councilwoman McKenzie. That carries 7-0.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. That motion passes. Takes us to item 8, which is unfinished business. There is none for the 3 o'clock session today. Takes us to item 9, which is reports from council members. We did not have time for the 1 o'clock session, so we will begin today with Councilman Estes.
One thing, Kathy Andrews, I saw you in here earlier. Thank you for your work on the CDBG. I don't know if she's still in here. Yes, I see you back there now. Thank you for your work on putting all that together, listening to everybody. I think it's lost sometimes, and I just really appreciate that.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Thank you for your work on the CDBG project and submission that's coming up. And I know we just voted on it. Thank you very much. It does so much good. A lot of it goes under the radar. I follow it every year. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's all, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Cassidy.
Yeah, Mayor, one announcement, Highway 60, Georgetown Road. Remember tomorrow at 1:30 at the new Kennedy's Creek Elementary, we'll have a ribbon cutting there. How many people has traveled that road? I'm just curious. How many people has traveled that road? Isn't it great? I mean, it's a wonder. So it's not a windy, and hopefully they'll have it done before school starts. So I'll take the traffic pressure off. I know the people I represent in the 3rd District are happy about that, so we'll see how that works.
Let them know the speed cameras are coming.
Yeah, and speed cameras are coming too. So just be careful, okay? All right, and I hope to see everybody out there. I'm sure there's some state officials will be there too. Come on out if you can. I appreciate it. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman
Yes,
May.
yes.
Oh, sorry.
And I might
Vice Mayor.
add to that,
Yes.
that was about a $54, $57 million investment in our community
Yes.
of the state of Tennessee.
Yeah, and to say this too, I do want to, side note, I need to do this for Senator Bell, Mike Bell. He was inspirational to getting that Highway 60 for us. When he was with Hasman gave him 3 projects. I'll tell you this right now. He's been here, he grew up at Bradley and went to Bradley High School. I graduated with him. He had 3 projects in the state, and he picked this project, Highway 60, over the other 2 in other counties. But I want to thank Mike Bell for stepping up, and he had 1 of the 3, and he did choose us. So thanks, Mike, on that part.
All right. Did we say on time and under budget, Vice Mayor? Did we say that again?
Yeah.
Okay. Councilman May, you reckon?
Anything?
Yes, sir. Councilman Goff.
Nothing.
Yes, sir. Vice Mayor Webb.
I want to recognize Tommy Myers. Tommy, we had a real problem over on Wildwood at 14th, maybe, where we had a flooding issue, and you took care of that. The owner of that business is very appreciative, and I appreciate y'all taking care of that. It was doing some real damage.
Mr. King,
Yes.
I drove by and looked at it, saw the way he did the asphalt. Tommy, thanks. Yeah, thanks. He didn't call me back, but good. Glad you did.
That's it.
All right. Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilman Moore.
Yeah, Joe, I'm told the fire study is back, pay study. Is there any truth to that?
We have some, they're still working on it, but we have some preliminary information.
Okay. Will you keep me posted, shoot back? Thank you. That's all.
All right. Thank you. Councilwoman McKenzie.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I just want to also say thank you to Tommy Myers and Public Works. I had several calls from out at Pleasant Road, Church Road and Haven Drive about the growth and the trees and the signs being covered up, and they went out and cleaned all that up. And I would just like to say thank you, because I was getting a lot of calls about it, and they went out and took care of that, and I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Councilwoman. That concludes reports from council members. It takes us to item 10, which is new business. We have one item under new business and ordinances, but we will first, I have 2 members of the council that have requested to speak, and we will begin today with Councilman Cassada under new business.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that, and I'd hope that I spoke before I'd have the floor for a few minutes. I've got a couple things to go through.
Yes, sir.
Mayor, I would like to go ahead and just ramble through this thing real quick. I'd like to make a motion for 2 new schools for 3 cents.
All right. That is a proper motion. Proper motion by Councilman Cassidy. It does require a second.
How are we, I thought we was going to set a rate. So are we going to go through every item and vote on it? Or are we going to try to decide a rate?
Mayor, I'm going through a process, and if they want to add
I'd
something
like to be
to
able to speak to before we vote on raising the tax rate.
All right, so Councilman Casta has made a motion. There is not a second, and there has been a request by another council member to speak.
Can we hear Dwayne and then?
Do what?
Can we hear Councilman Goff first? Mayor?
But maybe we could just show each other a little courtesy. Let's talk it out some, but then we can work through the motions later, rather than jump.
The motion's on the floor. I'll honor the.
Currently, Robert Rules of Order, there is a motion on the floor, but there is not a second. So that motion will fail for lack of a second. Councilman Casta, you're recognized.
I'll wait. I'll honor Mr. Goff over there and his comments, and if you would, let me come back. I would appreciate it.
Councilman Casta has relinquished his request to speak. Councilman Goff has been requested to allow you to speak at this time. Councilman Goff.
Mayor, council members, citizens of Cleveland, let me begin with a principle that guides every decision I make on this council: fiscal responsibility. Every dollar we spend comes from someone's hard-earned paycheck, whether it's a business owner, a retiree on a fixed income, or a young family trying to make ends meet. Every tax dollar matters. It's not our money, it's theirs. And we have a duty to be wise stewards of it. When I ran for this seat, I promised to prioritize responsible growth, not just growth for growth's sake. That promise still stands. Let's start with infrastructure. As a city, we voted to narrow Inman Street, a road that was already manageable, while continuing to overlook more urgent needs on Michigan Avenue, Freewheel Road, and Mouse Creek Road. These are key corridors for our growing community, especially if we want to support projects like a multi-purpose sports complex. We chose as a city to renovate the Cherokee Hotel and repurpose it as a new city hall. I get asked multiple times a month from frustrated citizens, how much have we spent on that building? The project has continued to rise in cost and is now multi-million dollars over the original budgets. I understand that the scope of the project has changed several times over the course of the project, and at this point we have no choice but to complete it. However, citizens see a lot of tax dollars being utilized at that building. These are tax dollars that are committed that now cannot be used for some of these other issues that we're speaking of today. We all agree that our downtown is beautiful, but visitors still do not have a clear or direct path to access it. Projects like the 3rd Street corridor might help, but the lack of an I-75 exit at Harrison Pike continues to hold the downtown back from reaching its full potential. We need to work with our state representatives to make this a priority, one of the top priorities. Regarding paving, while the budget is currently lower due to inflation, let's acknowledge the visible progress. There's road work and paving being done all over our city. Yes, costs are rising and we'll need to address the rising costs, but waiting another year is not going to cripple our road system. On to housing. Cleveland needs more affordable housing, but rising costs are making that harder every day. Cleveland Utilities recently doubled the connection fee in its newest budget, increasing the connection fee by $2,200 per rooftop. That sharp increase does not reflect the actual cost to provide the service and places an unnecessary burden on builders and ultimately on families that are trying to buy a home. If we're serious about affordability, these fees need to be reevaluated. You can contact Cleveland Utility Board members to discuss that further. Let's consider the numbers over the last 5 years. Home prices have increased about 84%. Rents have increased 68%, while wages have only increased 9%. That gap is putting real pressure on the working families. Cleveland's median income is about $60,000 a year. We can't keep adding the cost burden and expect housing to remain within reach, not when wages continue to lag so far behind. Education, it's critical, but we have to be honest about whether we're spending and investing wisely. Recently, the school system was given a multi-million-dollar commercial building, which was previously on the tax rolls. By accepting this property, they effectively removed a major source of tax revenue, shifting that burden to the taxpayers. They then invested in renovations to the building and exterior, creating one of the nicest administrative buildings in the state. Meanwhile, instead of saving for a new school construction, funds are being directed towards community closets and non-instructional programs. And yet we're no longer offer things like driver's education, even though Cleveland ranks 13th in vehicle collisions per capita across Tennessee's 95 counties. There are deeper questions we must ask. Why do we as a city school system spend $1,900 more per student than the county system? Why do we spend nearly the same amount on maintenance despite having 8 fewer buildings? Why do city students have fewer career and technical education opportunities despite paying higher taxes? Why are 1,300 city students voluntarily choosing to attend county schools? Why is the city school system so top-heavy on administration? Why hasn't the city school system grown in number at the same ratio alongside our population? Why is there so little collaboration between city and county education leaders? Why does the city and county school system scream they're at capacity, yet they both have been spending tax dollars in the past on advertising on the radio and other platforms? We function as one community, but our school systems act as rivals instead of partners. The school board says they want to work with the city, but from my seat, it often feels like they want a handout instead of a handshake. True partnership begins with fiscal responsibility, fiscal discipline. The city school system already receives approximately 40% of every property tax dollar. And the question that I hear from citizens is, how much is enough? That's why I've been calling for months to bring in a third-party expert to help us evaluate our options, including school district consolidation or city district secession. Instead of receiving a third-party expert that I've asked for, I've gotten shifting plans and inconsistent messaging. The city council and school board did form an ad hoc committee to build a better plan, but to date, they've only met a couple times, and I've seen no meaningful progress. I'm hopeful that this new committee will hire the third-party expert that I've been requesting to help us navigate these important decisions. I want to urge the city school board to look at these questions I presented seriously and hold the school system accountable for helping themselves through better budgeting, so that when requests for new schools come along, they can meaningfully participate in the cost. There's no easier money to spend than someone else's. Currently, we have a balanced budget. I'm not opposed to a tax increase if and when it's truly needed, but right now I'm not convinced. Especially not while interest rates remain high and state and federal governments are doing what they can to cut taxes and not raise them. Funding a sports and event complex would be great, but based on the numbers I've seen, it will cost approximately $90 million or more, not including an aquatic center, by the way. And that doesn't include ongoing operations, which would likely be break even at best. I appreciate that the city is exploring a mix of options, including hotel motel tax, liquor tax, the RETA infrastructure investment tools, tax incremental financing districts. I would also suggest that the city consider sales tax increment districts and public-private partnerships. For example, Westmore Church of God have offered to donate over 30 acres of land for this purpose. The FCA organization has verbally committed to large sums of funds to help make some of these outdoor sports facilities happen, yet I'm unaware of any progress on that option. We still don't know exactly where these proposed facilities would go or have a solid plan to fund them initially, much less sustain them for the long term. Meanwhile, interest rates are expected to drop in the near future. If we wait for borrowing costs to come down, we could save millions in interest, money that could go into roads, parks, schools, public safety, instead of debt service. Now is the time to finalize the plan, not rush into high interest rate debt that could have been avoided with patience and strategy. And let's not ignore the issue of public trust. For months, we've told residents that their taxes weren't going up, that the reassessment would balance things out. Now suddenly, a rate hike's on the table. Even though what we told the city citizens is technically accurate, it feels more like sleight of hand. At best, it's poor timing. At worst, it's perceived as dishonest. That's why I believe we need a cooling off period between reassessment and any tax rate increase to rebuild trust and provide clarity. One area where I believe we should move forward now is the Empowerment Center, a facility to support those who are temporarily homeless or in transition. We already have $1 million allocated from the government, and both the city and county have committed to additional funds, but we still lack some key details. How much funding do we actually have on top of the $1 million? Where will it be built? What will it cost? An additional county contribution is likely required. Will they agree to that? If a site has been identified, we should move forward and use available funds. The city expects to have nearly a $700,000 in free cash flow this year. We also have ample reserves in our general fund, and this is the kind of project that justifies using them. We can make real progress without raising taxes currently. We need to keep planning for the future. We know we'll need a new fire station soon, so let's take the time to reevaluate the right location and the best place to fund it. Last year, we had a free site offered through a proposed annexation on Michigan Avenue, but this council voted down the free site and all the commercial revenue it would have brought into the city. That was a missed opportunity, and we have to do better. We should also finalize a list of city-owned buildings that can be sold after City Hall is complete. Maybe those proceeds can help fund the fire station. More than once, I've been the lone no vote on spending increases. Not because I'm against kids, not because I'm against progress, but because I believe in asking hard questions, making smart decisions, and planning for 5, 10, even 20 years down the road, not just the next budget or election cycle. We've had a strong economy for the last decade, but cycles repeat. A recession is likely on the horizon, and now's the time to tighten up, not stretch further. Let's not govern by tradition, let's govern by principle, prudence, and purpose. Let's lead this city with the same common sense and accountability we'd expect in our own homes and businesses. Let's lead with transparency and respect for the people who trust us to make the right decisions. Thank you.
Councilman Cassidy, you asked to speak. You then relinquished your time to speak to Councilman Goff. I will now go back to you for an opportunity to respond.
Yeah, Mayor, again, I would like a motion on the table. I'd like to put a motion back on the table for 2 new schools for 3 cents to go towards the city property rate.
It is a proper motion by Cassida, and it does require a second to move forward for the council. Is there a second? Hearing none, that motion fails.
Mayor, then I would like to go ahead and make a motion for a indoor event, aqua center, fire station, and 1 new school. And that's to be placed in the property's been given to us on this part. And it's to be placed into a development that's going to be a huge impact in our community.
Councilman Castillo, that is a proper motion. It does require a second. Is there a second? Councilman Castillo, that motion fails for lack of a second.
I request to speak with no motion.
Sure.
I'm asking no better.
Councilman Estes?
I'm speaking to my colleagues here, and I didn't prepare maybe as well as I should. I don't know how we sort this out today, but we've got to get through it. And I'm not sure what the magic bullet is. Dwayne, thanks.
Councilman Estes, I'm being requested for you to speak into the mic.
Dwayne, thank you. Actually, this is the one that works. At least you gave me structure to work off of. We don't need it now. It's too expensive. We're to be wise stewards. The reason we have the lowest property taxes of anybody at K-12, both city and then city-county combined, is because we've made infrastructure investments to bring in businesses. We wouldn't have half of the Zagsby farm and the industrial park built out if we didn't have put Fire Hall 6 in. We wouldn't have people on the Industrial Development Board, Economic Development Council. When they come, what do they want to see? Parks, greenways, schools, and Lee University. They don't come for low taxes. They come for TIFs. They come for pilots. But it's not low taxes. It's such a paradox. It's like that movie Cars. Turn left to go right, or turn right to go left, and he couldn't put his mind around it. It's so hard to convince people that investment and spending money up front saves you so much money in the long run. You don't have a clue as to what interest rates are going to do, or when the next recession is. And
Do you?
and when it does, no, I do not. But when it does come, what do? We refinance. Why are we at all, most of our debt, 97% at 2.29 or better? We hit it perfectly. When interest rates come down, we refinance and we save this money. I agree about the public trust. You being a single vote, 6-1, but you weren't 6-1 on the property on Michigan Avenue. I was the only one for accepting. There's so many things to respond to. But I'm just trying to stick to the big things. So this is my colleagues. I'm not picking. I'm just using the structure of the previous comments. We are to be wise stewards. You talk about downtown. I got so much grief about the Greenway. Now everybody loves it. Very small investment. Everybody was against it. Whoa. Everybody loves it. The same thing with Inman Street. I was kind of like on the fence about it. I didn't understand the diet. I'm like, everybody loves it. Nothing would happen downtown if we didn't invest, take over the Cherokee Hotel. What do you think is going to happen if we don't buy the old fire hall? It just sits there and downtown rots. It is a public-private partnership, and we have to work in the things that we do, and we make small investments. That's what keeps taxes down. So in, 2017, we raised it 42 cents. Not a peep. Not a peep. No one lost their job up here. 42 cents. Joe's trying to, he brought us what, 22, 30 something, and 9, I think was the first time a couple months ago. He gets it. Small incremental steps. 10 cents are where I'm landing, just for my colleagues, 9 cents, not 10 and a half. One school. The rest of the litter. So the 10 cents is a small increase when you look at us compared to every other K-12 district, every other K-12 district that city, county, municipality, and county. I just don't know how we could better serve our citizens than having such a very small increment and then deliver. Just as we did in 2017, we delivered new policemen, we delivered new firemen. That's what keeps taxes down. There is a trust issue, but this is the last thing. The last thing that doesn't really fit into your scheme that you presented. And Mr. Anderson, I am just like you. I have an incredible fear of regressive taxation. I shouldn't speak just then. Sorry. Let me take over. I don't like regressive taxes. David has heard this before. He's been here long enough. Almost every tax is regressive and hurts the people. I get that. We can't solve a housing problem through zoning, through taxes. What we can do is grow, provide more housing possibilities, more housing options. So it takes more options for people, that in turn lets the market decide, not us. That's not something where we partner with the market and set it. But we do know we have people coming to town. We do know we are struggling with housing. We see that. Planning Commission and city staff, for the last 3 years, we've approved almost 3,000 rooftops. That's about all we can do, and we let the market go from there. I have incredible fears about people coming here saying, hey, it's just going to hit the poor. We're just going to charge them more for rent. I don't know what to do about that. I don't know what to do about that. I think we provide better schools, because schools are the safety net at the end of the day. We provide them the support. We keep it at the forefront of our minds, and we do this very small and incrementally. 9 cents is palatable. to my colleague, I'm not making a motion, Mayor, I'm just saying, I see all of this as an investment that, if you can wrap your mind around it, keeps taxes down. And I'd love to address, I'll write as fast as I could, I'd love to address all the things you said. They're just ill-informed. And some of that's statistic, but some of that's just factual, some of it's opinion. So, Mayor, thank you.
Councilman Estes, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the middle of a motion process, so I would ask that we keep the applause silent until we can get through this so I can make sure I hear everything. Councilman Cassada, you allowed his request, Dr. Estes, to be made to speak. I'll go back to you, Dr. Cassada, before we go back to the item A ordinance 202535.
I guess in a combination, if we want to do a one tax rate, we want to go through every item. I mean, I don't know. We could sit here for hours going back and forth. And I just want to get to the heart of it. And you said 9 cents you live with? And what would that include on 9 cents?
Everything but one school.
Everything but one school.
I'm assuming the school is a penny and a half.
Yes.
So it would be 9 cents above the certified rate of 1, 2, 3 and change.
Well, then if you're comfortable with that, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for 9 cents for one rate across, due to Dr. Estes and his analysis and what he thinks he can live with. I'm good with that. So therefore, let me have a motion I'll make a motion for 9 cents.
That is a proper motion by Cassada. Is there a second?
Mayor, I will second that motion.
It's a proper motion by Cassada, properly seconded by Vice Mayor Webb. Ms. Brandon, I just want to make sure that you properly understood the 9 cents and what that entails for that motion by Cassada.
Yes, I have the tax rate would be $1.3216.
Mayor, also to allocate that each of the pennies will go for that project. It will not go outside of that project. I want to make that clear to the public too. It will be allocated, Joe, okay?
Vice Mayor, do you accept that verbal amendment?
I do.
That is a proper motion, properly seconded. It's been verbal amendment that's been accepted by both parties.
Vice Mayor has it.
Could I address
Certainly.
the issue?
Yes.
Do you want to speak before the vote?
Yes.
Vice Mayor, you're recognized.
I have never, ever been a fan of property taxes. But in the state of Tennessee, the decision has been made that's how we will fund local governments with sales tax and property taxes. And until that is changed, we have no real alternative. The reason I have never been in favor of property taxes is because it's based on someone's opinion of something, the appraisal. It's not based on a hard fact. But that's the cards the state has dealt municipalities in the state of Tennessee. So that's what we have to live with. Personally, I spent almost 30 years at Cleveland Utilities, and I saw the problems of getting behind on infrastructure. And it doesn't matter if it's the schools, it doesn't matter if it's the fire department, it doesn't matter if it's the animal control. Once you get behind on infrastructure, it is much more difficult to catch up and maintain the current level of service or improve that service. That is why I am willing to support 9 cents as allocated previous conversations. And I just think it's the right time to do the right thing for the city of Cleveland. Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor, can I add to the record? Christie, I'm going to vote yes, but I want the record to be very clear why. It's a total package. It's not necessarily about the schools. I mean, I'm in the schools a lot. It's my business, but that's only a penny and a half for the whole kit and caboodle. And I see this as a vote for all of Cleveland, not for the people in blue. mean, I just want that to be very clear on the record. Thank you.
All right, there's a proper motion by Councilman Cassidy. It was properly seconded by Vice Mayor Webb. We've had discussion and comments about the motion. Is there any further comments from the members of the council? Councilwoman McKenzie, if you'll please speak into the microphone.
This is not an easy decision, and I have given this tremendous thought and tried to figure out what we should do. But of course, there's 7 oaths here. That's 7 different opinions. As is the same with the audience. There's all different opinions. I'm not necessarily for a tax increase, and I've always said no tax increase. When y'all interviewed me the day that I stood here before you, somebody asked me the one thing, and I said no tax increase. So, having said that, I also want to say that I'm very mindful of what a tax increase could do for a certain portion of our city. It won't hurt everybody, you know. I mean, some people it's not going to hurt them at all. But we're looking at homelessness, and I think it can have an impact. I think if we do a tax increase and we don't do it the right way, which in my opinion is doing it over a period of time. It's all about timing for me. I feel like we could hurt some of the portion of our society and our community and the people in our community. I'm not against anything on the list, to be honest with you about it. I feel like everything on our list has its own merits. And I think would improve the city of Cleveland. But I just think we should do it over a period of time. And so I'm not for a 9-cent increase. I would vote against it, but I would be for a small portion that could be figured out over a period of time, or even, and I do have a question, can we bond anything right now without it affecting the raising taxes? I'd like to know that.
It'll be a long time.
I can make a knowledgeable decision.
All right. We do have a motion. Thank you, Councilman Casta. We do have a motion on the table that has been seconded, has been verbally amended. Mr. Fivas, do you have the answer to Councilwoman McKenzie's question about bonding immediately, or would that have to be something you get back to her on?
We would have to talk to our financial advisors to really give you a solid answer.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Fivas. We have a proper motion. It's been properly seconded. Any additional conversation, questions, or comments from the council? Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman Cassidy.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Webb.
Aye.
Councilman Estes. Aye. Councilman May.
No.
Councilman Goff.
No.
Councilman Moore.
No.
Councilwoman McKenzie.
No.
That motion fails 4-3.
Mayor, I move we approve a 7.5 increase for everything but the schools.
That is a proper motion by, first of all, let me say that first motion fails. There's a proper new motion by Councilman Estes for 7.5. 7.5, Ms. Brandon, for everything that was included prior except the school funding. Councilman Estes, that would require a second.
No.
Gee, we're gonna be here for a while.
Second.
That is a proper motion by Councilman Estes, properly seconded by Councilman Cassida.
Christie, I want to say that for the record, I see this as a direct vote for or against the schools this time.
That is a proper motion by Estes, properly seconded by Count Cassida. Any additional comments, questions, or concerns from the council? Hearing none, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Estes.
Aye.
Councilman Cassidy.
Aye.
Councilman May.
No.
Councilman Goff.
No.
Vice Mayor Webb.
Aye.
Councilman Moore.
No.
Councilwoman McKenzie.
No.
Fails 4-3.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. That motion fails. Councilman Cassida, you had relinquished your time earlier. If you have no further comments, I will go directly to item A, ordinance 2025, which sets...
No, Mayor, I would like to again, I want to make a motion. Here, a motion for indoor event aquatic center, a fire station in one school. It's 2.5 cents. That's my motion.
Can you repeat that, please? What's your for?
The indoor event aquatic center, half a penny. The fire station, to half a penny. In one school, 1.5, so it's 2.5 cents.
All right, that is a proper motion by Councilman Cassida for 2.5. Christie, did you get the definitions? Councilman Cassida, that's a proper motion. It does require a second from the council for 2.5. Councilman Cassida, your motion fails for lack of a second. I will return the floor to you, sir.
Let me make another motion here. Indoor event center, aquatic center, fire station, paving 40%, 2 pennies, which is 4.5 cents.
That is a proper motion by Cassida for 4.5. Ms. Brandon, are you clear? That is a proper motion. It does require a second from the council.
This doesn't include any schools.
Let us calculate it.
Okay.
So,
Sure. I've got the aquatic center.
I think it's,
Is it more? My math may be off. Please don't grade me. Don't give me an F on math, okay? Paving road's 2 cents. 2. That's really 3 cents, I think, isn't it? The 3?
yeah, it would be 3 cents.
3 cents. And also, I would like the animal shelter to be added in there for a half a penny, so it'd be 3.5 cents towards that motion.
So 3.5, and we have the definitions.
Animal shelter.
Aquatic center, fire department, and paving 40%. Increase on paving 40%.
All right, that is a proper motion by Cassida.
No matter. No scope.
So that is a proper motion by Councilman Cassida for 3.5. It does require a second from the council, Councilman Cassida. Is there a second for 3.5? Councilman Cassida, your motion fails for lack of a second.
Clear. I give the floor back to you.
Thank you, Councilman
That's
Cassida.
all I can.
That returns us to item A under new business, which is ordinance 2025-35, adopting the 2025 tax rate, which is the state certified tax rate of 1.2316. It is in your packets on pages 61 through 62. That is an ordinance which does require a motion from the council.
So moved.
It's a proper motion by Councilman Goff. Is there a second?
Second.
Properly seconded by Councilman Moore.
I make a substitute motion that we add to that family and transitional housing for .005.
There is a substitute motion to ordinance 2025-35 by Estes. That substitute motion would have to have a second. Is there a second to add the additional half cent to the 1.23? It does require a second. Hearing none.
No, I heard a colleague say he was for this. I thought I heard.
Yeah, and I easily laid out how we could pay for it without raising the taxes as well, if you heard that.
Well, there was no second to the substitute motion. We're back on the original motion, ordinance
Mayor, can I
2025.
make a motion? Can I make a motion?
It would be a substitute motion. There is a motion on the floor.
Oh, it is.
Well, it's the last motion.
So I can't make it.
No, you can. But if you don't now, you won't.
Mayor, there's a motion on the floor to accept the certified tax rate. Anybody can make a substitute motion, but you can't make another motion. It has to be a substitute.
That is correct. It would be a substitute to the certified tax rate.
I can make a substitute.
Yes, ma'am.
I make a substitute motion of one school Mouse Creek widening, the Aquatic Center, and if y'all could total that up for me, I'd appreciate it. And the family transitioning.
Second.
That is a substitute motion. There has been a second by Councilman Estes. Mr. Kimball, I will wait to hear your total for what that will affect the certified tax rate.
I think it's around 3 cents. I had that as Mouse Creek .41.
We're just double checking the number.
Okay.
Not gonna be as long at all.
Family housing.
What'd you get? 216? 266. He gets 266. 2.66. No, she's getting 316. Councilwoman McKenzie, there's a question that
Was there a aquatic center included?
Yes.
4 things.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, that was the problem. Where's that? What's that?
That means you were right, Ken. It's 4. It's 4 items. And he was only counting 3. He was only counting 3. missed the fourth aquatic. Mr. Fivas, do I hear consensus? This is when we should have taken a recess for them to just do their math.
Absolutely.
There won't be a second for a recess.
Got it. All right.
Mr. Kimball, if
We
you
have to
could,
move our decimal places.
certainly.
Okay. So if you add, let me just tell you how we came up with this so there's no confusion. According to the presentations, the school is, it's 3 cents for 2, so it'll be 1.5 for 1. The Mouse Creek was 0.66, the others were half a cent, so that's a total of 3.16. So when you move that over, the decimal point is 0.0316. That would raise the certified rate is $1.2316. That motion would make the rate $1.2632, 1.2632. Right, so the increase is 3.16 pennies or 0.0316. And you do it in terms of dollars.
So final rate would be what?
1.2632. Councilwoman McKenzie, you are the maker of that motion. Are you acceptable with that list and that total?
Yes.
That is a proper motion by Councilwoman McKenzie. It's been seconded by Councilman Estes. Is there any additional comments, questions, or concerns? 1.2632. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman McKenzie. Aye. Councilman Estes.
Aye.
Councilman Cassidy.
Aye.
Councilman May.
No.
Councilman Dodd.
No.
Vice Mayor Webb.
Aye.
Councilman Moore.
No.
Carries 4-3.
Ordinance 2025-35, setting the tax rate at 1.2632 passes 4-3.
That's just for the final reading, we'd have that number filled in.
That is a correct statement. All right, that was motion number 6 for people that are keeping track at home. It overrides, it was a substitute motion which overrides the 5th motion. There is no further business before the council. Are there any other comments, questions from the council? Takes us to item number 11, which is announcements. The next city council meeting will be held in this chamber on Monday, July 28. If there is nothing further,